From Manila to the globe, this is World Newsfeed, bringing you the biggest stories shaping our times. Good morning, I'm Raine Musñgi. Let's dive into the headlines making an impact across the world. We begin in the United States as loyalists continue to fill the Trump 2.0 cabinet. The latest, former Congressman Lee Zeldin being tapped to run the Environmental Protection Agency. Zeldin frequently voted against legislation on green issues during his stint as lawmaker. He will now carry out Trump's environmental agenda, which includes pulling back Biden-era rules on climate and air pollution. Other loyalists named to Trump's cabinet include Stephen Miller, the architect of his first-term restrictive immigration agenda as White House Deputy Chief of Staff for Policy. Tom Homan will become his border czar to oversee mass deportations of illegal immigrants. Meanwhile, President-elect Donald Trump has picked Republican Representative Mike Waltz to be his national security advisor. Waltz is a retired Army Green Beret and a leading critic of China. The Trump loyalist had also served in the National Guard as a colonel. National Security Advisor is a powerful role which does not require Senate confirmation. Waltz will be responsible for briefing Trump on key national security issues and coordinating with different agencies. Meanwhile, Donald Trump has also picked Elise Stefanik as U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations. The world body says it is ready to work with her. The 40-year-old Stefanik, a New York representative and House Republican Conference chair, has been a fierce Trump ally. U.S. President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris honor U.S. military veterans in their first joint appearance since Harris's election loss. The event at the Arlington National Cemetery was also the first time Harris has been seen in public since conceding the election to Donald Trump. The ceremony comes shortly before Biden hosts Trump at the White House on Wednesday. The annual UN Climate Summit begins in Baku, Azerbaijan, with many country delegations concerned Donald Trump's victory would hinder progress to limit global warming. Trump has promised to again remove the U.S., the world's biggest historic greenhouse gas emitter, from international climate cooperation and maximize the country's already record-high fossil fuel production. U.S. climate envoy John Podesta says, while Trump's victory was disappointing to climate advocates, the work to combat global warming will continue in the U.S. Heading to New Jersey's border with New York now, as rain does little to slow a raging wildfire. The fire has already forced thousands of acres and strong winds, or rather torched thousands of acres, and strong winds are helping the blaze grow. Firefighters from both New Jersey and New York have been deployed. At least one person has been reported killed by the wildfire. Over in Colombia, which is now under a state of national disaster due to catastrophic floods, as many as 30,000 families have been severely affected by the flooding caused by heavy rain. Government has begun distributing relief aid to the victims. Here in the Philippines, a new storm has entered the country's area of responsibility, even as several provinces are still reeling from Typhoon Nika. The new tropical cyclone Ophel is forecast to hit some areas already battered by Nika. Nika has weakened into a severe tropical storm over the West Philippine Sea, but not before dumping strong winds and heavy rain on parts of Luzon. Up next on World Newsfeed, the Middle East is in turmoil and Arab and Muslim leaders say the only solution is for Israel to withdraw from occupied Palestinian territories. Stay with us here on BNC. And we're back. This is World Newsfeed. Arab and Muslim leaders are demanding Israel to withdraw from occupied Palestinian territories, saying this is the only way toward regional peace. They're also denouncing what they call Israel's shocking crimes in Gaza. The conflict in the Middle East was high on the agenda of the meeting between Arab League and the Organization of Islamic Cooperation. The summit comes less than a week after Donald Trump secured a second term as President of the United States, Israel's top military backer.
The two-state solution was dying a slow death, and with the conflict in Gaza and the activities of Israel in the West Bank, that death was accelerating. But what we now see is that there is a significant consensus of the international community, a majority of countries, of the members of the United Nations, a significant number of the largest countries actually in the world, that stand very firmly behind a two-state solution.
And that's all for now. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Raine Musñgi. Catch up with us again tomorrow. Follow the Money comes next at 10:30. Keep it here on BNC.